Good morning, students. Mrs. Seema Mahajan, Dr. Sanyal, my friend Mr. Manmohan Shetty, the students, the faculty members, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Harinder Singh and Mr. Manmohan Shetty have given their experience in the business, but I would like to touch upon a little different, starting from the overall economy of the country, entrepreneurs, the family-owned business, and the conclusion. Friends, post the liberalization of the Indian economy in 1991, the era of the licensed judge came to an end, which led to a lot of transformation in the business policies, the procedures, the tax structures, etc. This drew up the huge opportunities for the well-established Indian and multinational companies to grow in India. Further, this also created enormous business potential for the entrepreneurial community to a great extent. This created massive employment opportunity, which in turn improved the purchasing power of the people. With this, there was a marked shift in the standard of living in the masses from the have-nots to have. However, the pace of the reform could not be maintained during the tenure of the UPA government over the last 10 years due to various reasons, such as you know, the corruption, the scams, the raids on the industrial houses, which has resulted in the non-availability of the basic feedstocks such as iron ore, coal, and the power. Similarly, the infrastructure development, which is the backbone for any sustained economic progress, has been hampered and the economy has been adversely affected. Further, the post-liberalization, the Indian economy has been integrated with the world economy, and with the last 5 years has been the global growth rates in historic lows. All these factors have led to lower GDP growth, and this has affected the heavy industries very badly and consequently has led to a negative effect on the productivity and small and medium scale industries. With this brief about the past and the current economic status of the country, I would like to dwell on the subject of entrepreneurship in the Indian context. The typical Indian family-run businesses are mainly small and medium-scale entities, and in the most instances, they have been set up by the first-generation entrepreneurs. This set of entrepreneurs normally had no access to technology, no access to low-cost finance, and lacked efficient marketing tools. So any adverse change in the economy resulted in these entities facing the brunt of slowdown. So how do we go about creating a sustainable business? Most of us here know that it is of common understanding that 50% of the startup businesses come to an end within the first year, and almost 90% of the businesses fail after 10 years as they do not have the sustaining capacity. So this leads us to important question: why do business fail? Because normally one has to understand why this business generally fails. For any entrepreneur, one of the fundamental requirements is the passion. This, I believe, is generally seen with every entrepreneur at the start of the business. But in the due course of time, slowly the fire within begins to dies down. So the golden rule of any entrepreneur is always be passionate about your business, provided the business is viable. Otherwise, you may see your business destiny is destroyed. In life, everything is governed by right and wrong. Similarly, in business too, ethics and integrity plays an important role. Almost all companies whose promoters have been short-sighted to overlook this aspect have not been their business last for a long time. Every entrepreneur should know and understand the customer well. Understanding the needs of the customer is the key, as the ultimate success of any business can be guaranteed only with the continued patronage of the customer, as the customer is the king and then has been very aptly understood by none other than the great father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. He has made it very clear, all you must have known about it. According to him, a customer is the most important visitor on our premises. He is not dependent on us. We are dependent on him. He is not an interruption in our work. He is the purpose of it. He is not an outsider in our business. He is part of it. We are not doing him a favor by serving him. He is doing us a favor by giving us an opportunity to us. Further, one should understand the various stages of the life cycle of the business. Accordingly, the strategies need to be devised and should be positioned. This is something similar to the human life cycle. For instance, today at my age, because I am already 64, I cannot compete with a young man in 100-meter dash, but I can definitely compete against him in a marathon. Similarly, an entrepreneur should understand the life cycle of the business and compete accordingly in the business arena. For this, they need to understand whether business is in total stage, a mature stage, or an age stage. Once the business life stage aspects are understood, one can decide and control the business and also align the business to the level of one's thinking. This will also help you to take rational decision and not emotional decision pertaining to your business. Today's business environment is highly competitive, and in order to survive, innovation is the need of the hour. Ultimately, it's only innovation which can help you meet the needs of your customer and be better prepared than your competitor. So, my sincere advice to all you young budding entrepreneur is to constantly keep innovating and never get complacent. And that is what, practically you have understood the two examples. One is from Mr. Manmohan Shetty, another one, Mr. Harinder Singh, because how the innovation made a difference in their career. Further, marketing and the positioning of your products or services is the key to survive in this world. Otherwise, all the efforts would go in vain. In today's marketing environment, along with the various concepts, according to me, one also needs to have a fair degree of flair towards data analytics, or popularly called as business intelligence. Large corporates today have whole department dedicated to gather business intelligence, and this goes a long way in staying ahead of competition. Entrepreneurs also need to understand the financial and legal aspects of their businesses, because in any business, if the leader does not understand the financial and legal implications, this can certainly put them in trouble. Lot of resources and assets are created in an organization in terms of manpower and machinery. The most important and the key factor for the continual success for an entrepreneur is to optimize the returns on these assets. For doing so, one has to identify the people who are the greatest strength of an organization, and their potential should be capitalized fully. And our Dean, Dr. also mentioned about this, that how important is the HRD for the continual growth of an organization. These are some of the important factors which, according to me, any business cannot afford to overlook, and this also applies to family-owned entrepreneurship. Nevertheless, with all the above complexities, why should one look at the prospect of becoming an entrepreneur and why entrepreneurship at all. First and foremost, the way I see it is that it gives an individual a platform to live his dreams or her dreams. Secondly, any form of entrepreneurship is huge source of employment of people and huge source of revenue generator for the government in the form of various direct and indirect taxes, thereby contributing immensely to the overall progress of the country. Thirdly, if you people really look back in time and study the history of some of the largest corporates of today, they were all started by budding young entrepreneurs like you. Just to name a few, the Indian context, the Tatas, the Birlas of the Reliance Industries were all started by great visionaries of that period. And today, I'm sure of all of us assembled here aspire to emulate the success stories of these great companies. However, in my opinion, for instance, Reliance Industry today is Reliance Industry because its founder, the great Dhirubhai Ambani, very successfully managed the transition of his business from being a purely family-run business model to a professional-run business model. And believe me, this is the most important factor in taking your business to the next big level. It is very important for each one of you to understand the complexities, or rather the intricate differences that exist between a family-run business and a professional-run managed business, and how in different circumstances, interchangeability, both are equally important. Because in this particular instances, we can also quote the example of Infosys, because it was run as a mentor by Mr. Narayan Murthy, and of course he retired from that after 60 years, and handed over the entire organization to the professionals, but it could not run, that efficiently. Then again, he had to come back and take, in such situation, the family as well as the professional, both are required for the success of any organization. I will now highlight a few basic tenets of a family-run business. In the case of a family-run business, the head of the family will lead all the members of the family, and ultimately the key business decisions are taken by him. There may not be too much pressure of work on the employees due to their relationship with family built over a period of time. The family member in his capacity as the owner takes the total responsibility of each and every individual working in the organization. A high level of loyalty can be expected from the people working in a family-run organization due to their long association with the family. In case of family-run businesses, generally decisions are centralized. However, besides this, the family-owned business entrepreneur many times face a bigger challenge in managing the people, especially in the case of the first-generation entrepreneur. This is the severe as he has the responsibility towards three classes of people in an organization. That is, one is the family members, the second one is the professionals, the third one, the old employees who have actually helped him in building up the organization. As the company grows, the entrepreneurs has to depend more and more on professionals, and these professionals generally do not deliver unless they are given a free hand to operate. In such circumstances, the old employees and colleagues always have a grievance that today, when the company has grown, the younger generations are being inducted into the industry, business, and also the professionals are recruited to help and grow the business. And we are the people who have given our blood and sweat to build this company, and at this moment, we are being neglected. So the conflict of interest always starts at that particular point. As far as the family members are concerned, these old employees have no choice but to accept them. Whereas, when the professionals are inducted with better position, better perks and better responsibility, they generally do not accept it, and there begins the organizational imbalance. This is the time when the first generation entrepreneur who is in the helm of the affair would tend to balance out between his own family members, professionals, as well as the employees and old colleagues so that the harmony is maintained in the business. This is something that you people might have to experience when you join your family businesses, because this is a practical experience that you have to face in the future. However, be rest assured that with time such disturbances do tend to settle down, because you have to adopt the saying of the great Chanakya. A person would be engaged in a job that he is capable of doing most efficiently, because every person cannot do everything, but every person can do something. As the leader, you will have to really find the capability of his people and assign the job accordingly. This is the job of the person who's on the helm of the affair. Nevertheless, friends, the most successful companies today are the ones who have transisted from being a purely family-run setups to a professional managed setups without compromising on the fundamentals on which the business was initially started. So the bottom of line is of every business is reflects nothing but the value of the visionary who started the business, and the visionary always first started off as entrepreneur. During the last 2 decades, especially after the liberalization of the Indian economy, there are a mushroom number of family businesses, and in many cases they have a high level of professionalism in industries such as IT, BT, pharma, retail companies, and they're all quite successful. Infosys, Wipro, Dr. Reddy, Biocon, Adani, and these are the successful companies. So with this, I would like to come to the conclusion. So friends, before I really want to conclude, this is the general, that okay, what I have just talked before you. But I would like to give one small example, and then I conclude. Basically, I am not a cricketer. I am not a great lover of cricket. But I have seen one person. Of course, you are also, that great lover of him, and that you are all admirer of Sachin Tendulkar. So Sachin Tendulkar is the one person, how he transformed the cricket, for instance, and how it can help you in your career. I just want to, tell whatever it's, from my point of view. Cricket was there before him. Cricket will be there afterwards also. Cricket is a very simple game, because, there is nothing like high intelligence, there is nothing like BT, there is nothing like IT, there is nothing like, the rocket science. It is no great intelligence game. It is a simple game. This is a simple game he converted into something extraordinary, maybe because of his passion, maybe because of his dedication, maybe because of his perseverance, maybe because of his love, affection, and commitment. Ultimately, dear students, you also, if you adopt the same concept in your business or in your profession or in your career, and definitely you can also do something great. From an ordinary game, he converted into a mass popular person and got one of the greatest award, that is a Bharat Ratna. So for such an ordinary game like cricket, means in other words, in ordinary terminology, getting such a great honor, which was possible because of something extraordinary way of working. That is how he could do it. And similarly, other people, maybe Nelson Mandela as a politician, or this as a statesman, Mahatma Gandhi as a father of the nation, and Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani as a great businessman. They all must have something extraordinary. And also, in your life, you must inculcate something great and extraordinary, and that can make a big difference. Because all these things, whatever is taught, that in business schools and everything, it's a great help. But ultimately, you need to have the great passion and love that what you do. And similarly, Now, again, touch upon the subject which Manmohan has said, we're all coming from the same place. And that is, the Mangalore and Shetty's. Shetty's, when you talk about, normally, people consider it as the hotel industries. And that industry also, I would like to give a little, one small aspect of it. It's also one of the most successful business in Mumbai today. Because if you really see, starting maybe small items like idli, like vada, that whatever it is. And you won't believe there are 15,000 restaurants of only Shetty's owned in Mumbai. And that is starting right from Borivali, that up to Churchgate, that similarly from other side. And they may be doing more than 10,000 or 15,000 crores business. But unfortunately, I have one regret for that, because even though there are so many restaurants, so many people are working, highly employed, a lot of cash resources and rich people, everything. But none of these, the Shettys or the hotel owners could create a brand. They could not create a brand like KFC or like, McDonald's. All, their individual is so great. Mr. Ramakrishna, Mr. Chandrasekhar is there. Like that, okay. So many restaurants are there. So you are the 250, the great students that are here and the future is there. Think in this direction. How you can take this, as a brand to the global level. How you can create something extraordinary. And this is a great opportunity for all of you. And my dear students, wish you all the best. Good luck. God bless you.